The movie begins with Simba gathering all of the animals in the wilderness around and announcing that he and Nala are about to be blessed with another child. Meanwhile, Nala arrives at a serene oasis and waits for Simba to join her, so that she can safely give birth to their second child. At the same time, Simba, joined by his two best friends, Timon and Pumbaa, makes their way to Pride Rock where his daughter Kiara is waiting. Simba tells his friends that he needs them to be on their best behavior since he has assured Nala that everything will be okay. At first, both Timon and Pumbaa are against the idea of babysitting, but soon come around when Simba confesses that they are the only ones he can trust his daughter with. As they reach Pride Rock, Kiara rushes towards her father and tells him that she is scared since a storm is fast approaching. However, Simba only assures her that everything will be okay before getting up to leave. As he makes his way to Nala, he reminds his friends not to tell Kiara any crazy stories. Despite agreeing to not tell Kiara any stories, Timon and Pumbaa immediately jump into telling the cub their stories. They tell Kiara that they were the ones who defeated Scar, Simba's evil uncle. When Kiara claimed that her father had taken Scar down, they told her that Simba had lied to her. Suddenly, a loud thunderstorm takes them by surprise, and they all rush to hide behind a large rock. Still wanting to show Kiara that they are brave, Pumbaa tells Timon to sing his song to make her feel better. As the two of them argue back and forth, Kiara notices Rafiki entering the cave. Excited, she rushes towards him and confesses that she misses her parents. Rafiki shows Kiara the Tree of Life and tells her that much like their ancestors, Simba and Nala will soon return with a gift that will continue the circle of life. He tells her that Simba was a scared little cub when he was younger, just like her. At that time, her grandfather, Mufasa, had told Simba to look up at the sky and howl to the wind. With time, Simba not only learned how to roar like the king he was, but he also grew strong and brave. Kiara claims that she is not brave like her father. Hearing this, Rafiki decides that it is time for him to tell her a story of a young cub just like her. He tells her that long ago, a drought stuck in the wilderness since it had not rained in 20 days. The scene changes to years ago when Mufasa was a young cub who lived with his parents in the savannah. Mufasa's parents tell him that far beyond the horizon is a land called the Malala. His mother then tells him to close his eyes and imagine a fertile land filled with greenery and water. Excited, Mufasa closes his eyes and imagines a magical place, filled with lush land like he has never seen before. Not long after that, Mufasa and his parents begin their journey towards Milele. When they stop at a river in Savannah, Mufasa witnesses his first rain. Excited, he jumps into the water and begins playing alongside several other animals. However, the once peaceful day quickly turns around when the rain causes the river to swell, causing a flood. Mufasa's father jumps into the water to rescue him, but struggles to get a hold of him. Eventually, he manages to grab Mufasa and pushes him onto a rock, instructing him to walk towards his mother. Mufasa hesitates, scared of falling off the rocks, and just as he musters up the courage to jump to his mother, a large wave of water engulfs him and drags him underwater. Sometime later, Mufasa manages to grab onto a piece of floating wood and keeps his head out of the water. As he looks around him, he realizes that he cannot recognize anything. Just then, a young cub, much like him, jumps out of nowhere and introduces himself as Taka. He then asks Mufasa his name before telling him that he knows a secret. When Mufasa asks him what the secret is, Taka reveals that he is about to be eaten. This is when Mufasa notices the crocodiles behind him. As he rushes towards the shore, Taka grabs his paws and tries to drag him to safety. Before he can do that, Taka's mother, who later introduces herself as Aishi, shows up. Her roar scares the crocodiles away, giving Taka a chance to drag Mufasa out. She turns to her son and begins scolding him for walking away from her. Taka insists that he was safe and only moved when he saw Mufasa floating in the river. With this, as she tells Taka that it is time for them to leave. When Taka insists that they take Mufasa along with them, she reminds her son that his father, Obasi, does not like taking in strays. As soon as Mufasa hears this, he tells Aisha that he is not a stray and that he has gotten lost. Before she can comment on it, he asks her if she knows where his parents are. Knowing that she cannot leave the young cub behind, Ishi agrees to take Mufasa back home with them. As expected, Obasi does not take kindly to the cub and tells Ishi to get rid of him. When Ishi insists that they keep him, Obasi asks the young cub his name. Mufasa tells the king his name, who asks him if he knows what it means. Before Mufasa can answer, Obasi tells him that his name means king and that he is no king. To prove this, he arranges a race between Mufasa and Taka. He tells Eshe that being a king is their son's birthright, but she tells him that Taka needs to fight for the title. The two cubs excitedly race along the vast fields, with Mufasa almost succumbing to his fear of water. With Taka's help, he manages to cross the river without any problems and ends up winning. Disappointed, Obasi accepts Mufasa into their family, but tells him that he will stay with the females. As the years go by, Taka and Mufasa's friendship only grows stronger. One day, Taka asks his father if he can join Mufasa and the females in their hunt, but Obasi refuses to let him leave, claiming that a king's job is to protect his female. Although Taka does not like the idea of sleeping the entire day, he does not argue with Obasi. Not far from them, he notices Aisha and Mufasa preparing for their hunt. On the other hand, Aisha tells Mufasa that his parents are still out there, waiting for him. However, Mufasa does not want to believe that he has a home anymore, claiming that he likes being an outcast since he does not have any responsibilities like Taka. Unbeknownst to him, Taka overhears their conversation and realizes that things have begun to change for him. Sometime later, Mufasa and Aisha are hunting when they sense danger. Both of them prepare to tackle the threat, but to their surprise, they are attacked by large white lions who are the outsiders. Despite Aisha telling Mufasa to run, he stays back and fights alongside her. At the same time, Taka, who was watching the entire thing play out, finds himself too scared to help his mother and runs back to his father. When Eshe and Mufasa get back, Obasi thanks Mufasa for saving her life. Mufasa warns them that the lions are coming back for them, and they need to be prepared for their attack, but Obasi refuses to believe that he might be right about this. That night, Obasi tells Taka to hide the fact that he was too scared to help his mother during the attack, claiming that he is the true king, and this must be done to protect the bloodline. During this, the white lion that had attacked Mufasa and Aisha arrives back empty-handed. When Kiros, their leader, sees this, he orders other lions to kill him. In the meantime, Obasi and Aisha decide to send Taka away so that he can continue their bloodline. They also send Mufasa away with him, reminding him to protect Taka with his life. Although Mufasa does not want to leave Aisha, she assures him that he will find his family and that he should make his way towards Milele, the magical land his mother had told him about. With this, the two of them begin their journey, unaware that the outsiders have already attacked Aisha and Obasi. Not long after they started their journey, Mufasa sensed the white lions chasing them and told Taka they needed to run towards safety. As the two of them begin running, they soon realize they have reached the cliff's edge. Knowing they have no choice but to jump into the river below, Taka begs Mufasa to overcome his fear. When the white lions approach them, Mufasa decides to jump along with Taka. To his surprise, they manage to float to the surface instead of drowning. However, their celebration is short-lived as one of the white lions jumps into the river as well. The two of them quickly grab onto each other and let the current take them away. Eventually, they lose the lion chasing after them and make their way towards the shore. By the time it gets dark, Mufasa and Taka slowly continue their journey to Milele. This is when Mufasa senses another lion nearby and assumes that it might be the outsiders again. With his guard up, he asks the lion to show himself. To their surprise, they discover that it is a female who, like them, was also attacked by the outsiders. She introduces herself as Sarabi. When Taka tells her that she can join them on their journey to Milele, she tells them that Milele is only a myth. However, Taka reminds her that she is alone and needs their protection. At this point, her friend, a bird named Zazu, flies down and tells them that he will take care of Sarabi. As Sarabi contemplates her choices, she asks Mufasa what they are doing about food since she is hungry. He assures her that they will hunt. Above them, on a tree filled with baboons, a young Rafiki finds himself getting rejected by other baboons due to his mystical visions. Rafiki accepts his clan's decision to exile him and goes down to the ground where he comes across Mufasa and his friends who are trying to hunt him. He manages to save his own life by telling the group that he can help them reach Milele if they let him live. Convinced, Mufasa lets Rafiki join them. Later that night, while everyone goes to sleep, Mufasa is plagued by dreams of his mother who tells him that she is waiting for him in Milele. The next morning, they continue their journey and eventually reach a canyon. When Mufasa tells the group that they need to go through the canyon, everyone tries to protest. However, Mufasa manages to change their minds when he teaches Sarabi how to track movements far away from them. When she senses the white lions on their tail, she agrees to go through the canyon like he had suggested. As they are walking, Taka asks Mufasa to help him with Sarabi, claiming that she is his mate. Mufasa tells him to talk to her about the flowers he can smell on her fur. When Taka tells Sarabi she smells like flowers, she becomes impressed that he was able to smell them on her fur. Once they cross the canyon, they come across a herd of elephants heading towards the other end. Mufasa insists on asking them about Milele. At the same time, Sarabi smells the white lions close by. To buy them time, she plucks a beehive from a tree and throws it in the middle of the ground. This causes the elephants to cause a stampede. As Mufasa tries to get away from them, he notices a white lion behind him. Before the lion can attack him, it gets crushed by the frantic elephants. Meanwhile, Sarabi, who was hanging by the tree, falls in the middle of the herd and loses consciousness when an elephant kicks her across the field. Desperate to rescue her, Mufasa jumps in the middle of the stampede to help her. Taka watches as he drags Sarabi to safety. When she regains consciousness, she asks Rafiki who rescued her, but Mufasa interrupts him and tells her that it was Taka. Over the next few days, the group continues their journey until they reach a snowy mountain. To make sure that they don't leave any tracks behind, Mufasa asks Zazu to use his wings to cover their tracks with snow. Zazu does as he is told, and notices the white lions turning away as they lose their trail. Later that day, Sarabi realizes that it was Mufasa who had saved her. She confronts him and tells him that she has noted how attentive and strong he is, claiming that Taka's destiny was to save him and that he is the true king. Disappointed, Taka watches as they bond before he turns away and watches to the edge of the snowy cliff. All of a sudden, the snow gives away under him and he slides to the bottom of the mountain. There, he comes across the white lions and decides to help them take down Mufasa. The next morning, when Taka joins his friends, he tells them that he was out hunting but could not find anything since he is not as good as Mufasa. Once again, they begin walking ahead, but remain unaware that Taka has betrayed them. After days of walking towards the mystical land, the ground finds that Milele is not a myth as they finally see the lush field in front of them. They make their way to the Tree of Life where Rafiki had seen his brother in his visions. When they reach the tree, Rafiki reveals that he had seen Mufasa in his visions, ruling by his side. Just then, their celebrations are interrupted by animals who tell Mufasa that he has brought danger to Milele. When Mufasa tries to assure them that they covered their tracks, the white lions make their appearance and reveal that Taka has betrayed them. Although he is hurt by Taka's betrayal, he refuses to back down and insists on fighting Kiros. Meanwhile, Sarabi tries to convince other animals to help them fight against the white lions. Mufasa joins her and manages to convince the animals to fight alongside him. Once the fight breaks out, every animal plays their part while Mufasa takes on Kiros. When Kiros attacks Mufasa, he falls off the edge and into a canyon. This is where Kiros corners him again and quickly gains the upper hand. Seeing Mufasa suffer, Taka begins to feel guilty about his betrayal and intervenes, just as Kiros jumps to attack Mufasa. Left with a scar on his eye, Taka watches as Mufasa regains his strength and attacks Kiros again. The two of them plunge into the ocean underneath as they struggle to win the fight. From the outside, Rafiki causes a cave-in resulting in the cave getting flooded, and the two of them getting caught under the water. There, Mufasa uses his superior senses to let Kiros get crushed by a rock as he swims out. Taka, who is waiting at the edge for him, contemplates letting him drown, but eventually pulls Mufasa out. With the fight finally over, Mufasa walks outside and reunites with the rest of the animals who are waiting for him. Among them, he finds his mother, who reveals that his father had died during the flood. Despite his loss, Mufasa realizes that he is now king, as he has managed to save Milele. When Taka approaches him and apologizes, Mufasa is forced to exile him, leaving behind a vengeful lion. At the end of the movie, Rafiki takes Kiara outside, where she too reunites with Simba and Nala, along with her new brother. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.